Cleaning a sewing machine can make all the difference between a smooth sewing project or a frustrating one. On the Pfaff Creative 3.0 sewing machine, start by taking off the bobbin door and removing the bobbin. You're going to need a screwdriver, but not for taking off any screws. Do you notice the throat plate is completely smooth? All you need to do is go ahead and lift up. You can lift up on this corner or this corner and pop the throat plate off. There are 3 items you take off. First, the throat plate. Next, this little U-shaped piece. And next, the bobbin case. So this is a bobbin case. Your bobbin sits in here. And even look, I'm going to unthread the needle, which by the way, you should probably also take your needle out and your foot off. So I'm going to take the foot off. Take your needle out. If you use your multi-purpose tool, you can slide it up here so you can catch the needle. Loosen the screw and drop the needle. The needle can drop right in here, or you can pull it out. It's also a great little tool for when we go to put it back in, make sure it gets all the way high enough. Now at this point, this is where you don't want to pull or blow into the machine. No canned air. Everybody say, repeat after me, no canned air. You need to brush it out or suck it out with like a little vacuum cleaner. You don't want to blow anything further into the machine. That makes things really not good. So fabrics that are linty are going to be your battings, your flannels, fleeces, cottons, any of that. It's really going to start to build up. So if you ever start to get any skip stitches or thread breaks, get in here and clean out underneath the throat plate. I think you'll be surprised how quick it piles up with lint. And every time you take a stitch, the thread passes through all that area. And if there's lint in the way, that's what makes it not perform properly. So putting everything back together is you want to put the 2 little points of the bobbin case kind of pointing to the back of the machine. It does need to go all the way down. It does rock back and forth just a little bit, but it should sit flush on the metal part. Next is the little U-shaped piece you pulled out. Line it up on the front part of the machine first and then just let it drop in. Once again, it lays flush. It's all nice and smooth. Throat plate goes on last. See the little nub on the back? We're going to push that all the way to the back of the machine here. Set it down and then push firmly until you hear a click. Next, I'll usually put my presser foot on. I always put my needle in last so I can put the bobbin in. Look for the Pfaff logo and click it in place. Awesome. Now, how often do you need to clean this out? You'd be surprised. Every 2 to 3 bobbins, you might find yourself cleaning out. It doesn't take much. There's nothing to really undo. Just get in, lift, clean it out, and put everything back together. So it doesn't take much at all. Now, if you haven't put a new needle in, this is actually a good time to put a fresh needle in for your next project. And you do need to have your machine cleaned on a regular basis with your local Pfaff store. Now, that is something they're going to take off all the covers, get in, clean, oil, lubricate, everything that is that you and I don't see. And they're going to want to do that about every year. So whether you use this machine a lot or you use it a little, some of you who use it a lot, you might want to go in more than once a year. But definitely give yourself a little service time to just make sure you get your machine cleaned. If you don't, the machine's just not going to last as long. Make sure you take your embroidery unit in with you. And one way to double check that you have your needle all the way up as high as it will go is make sure you always use your needle threader, because if the needle threader doesn't line up, then you know instantly that you didn't get your needle all the way into the machine. So we'll do that, and then of course I always do a little test sewing and make sure everything is sounding correctly. I got all the parts and pieces back into the machine correctly, and I can hear already things are sounding good, no problems, and I'm ready to go for another couple bobbins worth of sewing.